Production. All living organisms perform respiration. But do you know what exactly happens during respiration? Come, let us do a detailed study of this life process. In living organisms, respiration occurs at two levels, body level and cellular level. We know that at body level, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged between body and surrounding. When diaphragm contracts and moves downwards, air is taken into the body through the nostrils. This air enters the nasal cavity and then through the larynx moves into the trachea. The air further passes into the two bronchi in each lung and further into the bronchioles. Alveoli are present at the end of the bronchioles. Air from the bronchioles enter the alveoli. Oxygen present in the air is taken up by blood present in the alveolar blood vessels, and carbon dioxide is released in the alveoli, which is thrown out from the body when we exhale air. When oxygen is taken inside the body, it is utilized to oxidize glucose molecules into carbon dioxide, and water and energy is released. Each glucose molecule that is oxidized during this process is made up of 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. All these atoms are joined together with covalent bonds. Come, after this brief description about cellular respiration, let us now proceed to learn about its mechanism. Cellular respiration. Carbohydrates of the food that we consume every day are mainly utilized for the production of energy required for our daily need. This energy is obtained in the form of ATP. For this purpose, glucose, a type of carbohydrate, is oxidized step by step in the cells. This is called cellular respiration. Cellular respiration occurs among the living organisms by two methods: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Come, let us learn about each method one by one. Aerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, glucose is oxidized in 3 steps: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transfer chain reaction. Glycolysis. The process of glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of a cell. A molecule of glucose is oxidized step by step, in total 10 steps, in this process. After glycolysis, one molecule of glucose utilizing 2 molecules of ATP and NAD gives 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, 2 molecules of NADH2, 2 molecules of water, and 4 molecules of ATP. By using 2 molecules of coenzyme A and 2 molecules of NAD, the pyruvic acid molecules formed during glycolysis is converted into 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A, 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, and 2 molecules of NADH2. ATP. ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, contains a nitrogenous compound, adenine, a pentose sugar, ribose, and 3 phosphate groups. It is an energy-rich molecule, and energy is stored in the bonds by which phosphate groups are attached to each other. These ATP molecules are stored in the cell. Whenever cell needs energy, one phosphate bond breaks and energy is released. In this process, ATP gets converted into ADP, or adenosine diphosphate. Hence, ATP is called as energy currency of the cell. Always remember, NAD or NADH2, that is, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, is a coenzyme. Coenzymes are small molecules which cannot function alone but can be reused several times when paired with an enzyme. These are made in the cells and help in cellular respiration. Some other coenzymes are FAD or FADH2, that is, flavin adenine dinucleotide, FMN, that is, flavin mononucleotide, and NADP, that is, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Vitamin riboflavin, that is B2, and vitamin nicotinamide, that is B3, are necessary for the production of FADH2 and NADH2 coenzymes. Come, let us proceed to learn about the second step in cellular respiration, that is, the Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is also called tricarboxylic acid cycle. Both molecules of acetyl coenzyme A, formed in the glycolysis in the cytoplasm of cell, now enter in the mitochondria. Acetyl part of acetyl coenzyme A is completely oxidized in this cyclical process, and carbon dioxide, water, NADH2, FADH2 are formed and energy is released. Remember, acetyl coenzyme A oxidized in the Krebs cycle are derived from pyruvic acid, which are derived from glucose. Thus, it means that the oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A is nothing but the oxidation of glucose. Introduction to scientists. The process of glycolysis was discovered by three scientists, Gustav Emden, Otto Meyerhoff, and Jacob Pernes, along with their colleagues. For this purpose, they performed experiments on mussels. Hence, glycolysis is also called as Emden-Meyerhoff-Pernes pathway or EMP pathway. The cyclical reactions of tricarboxylic acid cycle were discovered by Sir Hans Krebs. Hence, this cyclical process is also called as Krebs cycle. For this discovery, he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1953. Come, let us now learn about the third step involved in aerobic respiration. Electron transfer chain reaction. Molecules of NADH2 and FADH2 formed during glycolysis and Krebs cycle now participate in electron transfer chain reaction. In this reaction, each NADH2 molecule produces 3 ATP molecules and each FADH2 molecule produces 2 ATP molecules. Besides ATP, water molecules are also produced. Electron transfer chain reaction is operated in mitochondria only. Thus, in aerobic respiration, when a glucose molecule is completely oxidized, carbon dioxide and water are produced along with energy. If there is insufficient amount of carbohydrates in body due to exceptional conditions like fasting or hunger, then the body uses lipids and proteins for energy production. Lipids are converted into fatty acids, whereas proteins are converted into amino acids. Fatty acids and amino acids both are then converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and energy is obtained through complete oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A by the process of Krebs cycle in mitochondria. If we eat more carbohydrates than required by the body, then excess glucose is stored in liver and muscles in the form of glycogen. When the body needs energy, this stored glycogen is again converted into glucose and utilized. After learning about aerobic respiration, let us now learn about anaerobic respiration, in which oxygen is not used. Anaerobic respiration. Some living organisms can survive without oxygen. For example, anaerobic bacteria. Such living organisms have to follow anaerobic respiration for energy production. Glycolysis and fermentation are two steps of anaerobic respiration. We have seen that during glycolysis, glucose molecule is incompletely oxidized and pyruvic acid is produced with less amount of energy. Pyruvic acid is then converted into other products with the help of some enzymes, and this process is called fermentation. Yeast, a type of fungus, carries out fermentation in pyruvic acid and converts it into alcohol. Similarly, various microbes after fermentation convert pyruvic acid into different products such as vinegar, vitamins, etc. Red blood cell or erythrocyte does not have mitochondria. Therefore, RBC entirely depend on anaerobic respiration for energy production, and lactic acid is produced by fermentation. Similarly, lactobacilli, a bacteria present in milk after fermentation, turn pyruvic acid into lactic acid. Some higher plants, animals, and aerobic microorganisms sometimes also perform anaerobic respiration instead of aerobic respiration if there is depletion in oxygen level in the surrounding. For example, our muscle cells perform anaerobic respiration when oxygen is temporarily depleted while performing physical exercise. Due to this, less amount of energy is produced in our body, and thus formed lactic acid accumulates in muscles, due to which we feel tired. When oxygen levels return to normal, muscle cells again return to aerobic respiration. Germinating seeds also perform anaerobic respiration if the soil is submerged under water. From this, we can conclude that aerobic respiration is the cellular respiration which involves complete oxidation of glucose, and mitochondria is the cell organelle necessary for the complete oxidation of glucose. After learning about the energy production from carbohydrates, let us now learn about the energy production from other nutrients.